Since this is the escapist, we might have to slow him down ever so slightly just so he can get what he's
Oh
thinking.
yeah, I forgot. He speaks really fast, doesn't he?
It's MovieBob.
Well, I'm going to speak really fast. I don't know what I'm saying because I'm just saying things really fast. And I don't know why I keep putting out the fucking things in the middle of my sentences because I don't have a time to breathe at all. I just keep going like this all the time.
Well, think that only
Yeah.
he's prepared a speech and has words with multiple syllables in them and all sorts of wonderful, wonderful conversations we're going to be having. So it's about a topic that we all enjoy. So thanks for coming on, guys. Appreciate everyone for joining us. We have Dunn and Shiny on today. We might get some more later, but it's really based on tolerance.
LiteratureDevil said he was going to be on.
Oh, really? It's a big guessing game of tolerance just because it's MovieBob. And
Yeah, he has the largest kill count of any EFAP villain.
he's
Or
up
any
there.
video response villain.
It's hard to grasp. You have to repeat it. You have to slow it down. You have to do a lot of things just to appreciate the MovieBob. It's just you just can't go into it blindly and say, "All right, we'll do MovieBob videos." Like, all right, what are we doing
The
today?
movie. Bob.
So thankfully, the topic is something we covered previously on the SheRa, the cartoon, why it's so important. It's not that big a deal, honestly. We've had real live lesbian kisses and other such relationships in TVs and movie shows, so it's not a big deal. It's not a personally big deal. It's not a historical big deal. I don't know if there's other references to cartoons doing this before, but doesn't really bother me. You okay there? Getting sick on MovieBob already?
Didn't like Avatar: Legends of Korra already do like lesbian kiss or
did-
something?
They did
Yeah,
a
well,
lesbian
no kiss. They had a
relationship,
relationship. That was it.
but it was like right at the end, and then it was continued in comics.
Right, and that's you don't need the actual on-screen depiction. It's not a big deal. And the other examples we saw of kisses that were I'm trying to remember interracial and lesbian were both on Star Trek. So you can get away with a lot of things in fantasy and science fiction to introduce to a new audience because that's why you have those genres to do things you can't see elsewhere. So if an audience is not ready, or if an audience is not of the same level of maturity or intelligence or what have you, you can get away with it because in your futuristic society, everyone's the same or everyone's happy and friendly and they accept their emotions and society more than what we are in today. So these sorts of things aren't a big deal. Cartoons for kids, don't know. Hard to say.
I think one actually good example of like just representation of a gay relationship that doesn't have much relevance. It's just there is actually in the Dark Crystal TV series. The one of the main character dads is not referenced at all. She just has two dads. No, nothing's made of it. It just is there.
Yeah. This happens all throughout stories, so it's not a big deal. We've seen that. What was it? What's the latest? Not the non-Star Trek iteration of Star Trek. It's a comedy.
The Orville.
The Orville that has a few alien species doing a whole bunch of other mating rituals of some kind.
The Mocklins have lots of kisses, and they're supposedly all male.
Right. So, cartoons for kids, I don't know. Different topics, different scenarios. I don't think anyone really cared too much.
I don't.
There are people who cared. It's just that most of them are not of our inclinations towards high quality storytelling. They just care if things that they like are pushed.
Right, and I feel this is more of a less a North American thing than it is just a political thing for people who like to talk about these things on Twitter. That's about it. Like that's the only place I knew about it. Obviously, there's other places online than social media, but that's where I found out about it. And I was like, oh, okay, SheRa's ending after 5 seasons. I had no idea it was on that long. I had no care to watch it. I didn't care either way. But hey, we're going to find out just how game-changing an ending SheRa was to MovieBob. What a wonderful understanding of his insights into the workings of children's shows and progressive relationships. I don't know what to call lesbianism aside from just two people enjoying their company. But okay, let's get going.
Hey gang, do you like this show but think you'd like it more without ads? Would you like to watch The Big Picture a week early without going to two different sites? We can make that happen now with Escapist Plus and YouTube memberships. It comes in 3 different flavors. There's 0 punctuation emojis, you can ask me and the other creators questions, and also a Teespring store. You can get all the information how and more at the links below, so check them out.
Oh, that's stupid. Says I'm having an audio render error. On my computer.
Are you okay there, Dunn?'re good?
No, 1 second, let me restart.
Okay, we're gonna wait for it then.
Also, don't you love like the huge escapist watermark? You know, most channels just have a little tiny little watermark on the side of their screen. They have a fucking huge one.
Apparently, we're gonna download this video and use it for our own for some reason. I don't know why we'd do that. I don't want to download anything of this. I haven't watched The Escapist in years.
It's just to make sure you know. It's just to make sure you know it's The Escapist. They have it in big letters.
Yes, giant. The one thing that I ever remember. God, how long ago was it?
You love me.
You love
Are you
me.
kidding?
Such an idiot.
Oh, are you kidding me? 1 second.
You okay
It
there,
says
Dunn?
It says audio renderer error on my watch together. Let me restart real quick.
All right, just refresh the page. You should be fine.
If you have
I just did that.
ad block can sometimes mess around with it.
Depends on the ad blocker. Yeah, I have one that works fine.
Well, no, I had one that worked fine for a while, and then all of a sudden it just started messing with it.
Oh, really? It
Yeah.
seems as if,
and then it stopped messing with it some other time.
It seems as if we're having technical difficulties that we've never had before in the past. Is this special to watch together, or is it something to do with the actual video we're watching?
I don't know. Maybe our computers are trying to tell us something.
What are you doing to us? Stop it.
Yeah.
Like you start watching a MovieBob video, and all of a sudden the computer starts whirring up, like, or it starts to, like, overheat. It's like, no, don't make me do this. I can't interpret what the fuck he's saying.
Don, you could always try a different browser, you know.
Yeah. Let me see what I can. Yeah, I just restarted my computer. I hope this will work now.
Really? That's pretty novel. What are you using your phone there? That's kind of cool.
Well, I use my phone to chat via Discord, but I'm using my computer to watch the watch together.
Oh, that's pretty handy of you.
Yeah, it's mainly kind of because, like, for whatever reason, my microphone just doesn't work well with Discord. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's my computer. That's also a possibility, since it's kind of an old, crappy, appy computer. That's
okay.
Cheap laptop.
Well, here's a super chat from Mad Courier 6. Thank you, sir. Good evening, Smud, and good evening to you, sir. Doing fine. Everything's great over here. Making videos, watching videos, reading, writing, the usual day. Yeah, just waiting for stuff to open up, even though we had an announcement yesterday from our mayor in Toronto that things outside the city are opened up, but not inside the city. It's like, what?
That's weird.
It was like, oh, what a great announcement. We have to wait another month? Okay. Can't go out yet. Everyone's waiting. Just, all we can do is go for walks. You could have groups of 10 at most. Still have to keep 1.5 meters or 2 meters away. It's like, okay, that's fine. So, okay, Dunn, was that you? That jumped all the way back to 0-0 again.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
apparently the Dunn has been taken over by his computer and now is a robot.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like. Like, what's happening there, Dunn? Burp, 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 burp.
Maybe your phone isn't a good choice for a mic.
Yeah. Well, technically, I have my it's my Bluetooth headphones.
I think it might just be like Wi-Fi or something. Maybe it's not. 'Cause I doubt you have an Ethernet cable attached into your phone.
Let's switch the region just to be safe.
Okay.
U.S. Central. There we go.
Nope, he's still a robot.
You're still a robot. Oh no!
The robots have come.
Annoying. It's so annoying.
Oh boy.
One,
It sounds like internet.
uh,
God, now done. Sorry, not done. Smud, you sound like a lot more compressed now.
I sound compressed?
Yeah, and you're cutting out. At least for me.
Okay, let me switch back. Now we're doing Hong Kong.
We're just traveling around the world now. Or at least our voice.
Hey, LiteratureDevil.
That's fantastic.
We're having fun times connecting and reconnecting and getting Dunn to work and getting Dunn to turn into a robot. It's great. Also, we can get MovieBob videos to play. This is funny.
Robot Bob.
This is great start to the stream. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, fantastic. Here's Mark in 3D. Thank you, sir. I'm so done with this. Yeah, thanks, Dunn.
Yeah, sorry.
All right, I think we're ready to go. I think everyone's in the watch together. Can everyone get a... We're at 30 seconds or 36 seconds. So how's that? Everyone okay?
Yeah,
It
I'm
works for me.
036.
All right, let's
Works for
get
me.
going.
You love me. You're such an idiot. I love you too.
Oh, it's a heartwarming story of love and affection. Blech.
okay.
When does someone get stabbed already?
Yes. Someone stabbed.
Okay, that's nice.
So that happened. Yeah, if you or your kids or both were fans of the Netflix animated streaming series SheRa and the Princesses of Power
Which
and
I'm
were
not.
thinking maybe we can wait a couple days on watching
I
the
don't care about the show.
Is this going to be MovieBob
I-
calling us bigots for 8 minutes? That's what I'm getting the
I mean,
flavor of.
Of course,
I'm sure
it
that
is.
I'm sure there's a reason for people to criticize this. Maybe they've done a fucking Legend of Korra and the relationship has just came out of nowhere. But you know, who knows? It could have been actually built up, but I don't know enough or care enough about the show to watch it.
I don't even.
I'm
know-
not
I
even
don't
a fan of He-Man because I never watched He-Man as a kid.
Don't even know
Me
MovieBob
neither.
watched it. I'm pretty sure he just wanted to make a video where he calls us homophobes for 8 minutes.
You know, I'm more concerned
That's
about
right.
that cat girl's what is it called? Heterochromia. It's the eyes that are a different color, but it was the entire white of the eye, like the whole ball of the eye was a different color. I was like, that doesn't look healthy. That can't be good. But hey, that's just me.
Good. Tyler Preston
It's
says
just an eye infection.
It's a
Tyler
giant
Preston says
eye.
there's siblings in the show. There's siblings, apparently.
There's siblings. Whoa.
What? Wow. This is a kid's show?
Not only are they have a homosexual relationship, they are siblings. It's incestuous also. So I guess we're gonna be. What's being what's the equivalent of being against incest? It's like a incest phobe or something.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just why.
Yeah, no.
Are they-
Bob
they're
would hate that.
sisters?
Bob would hate that. He's against all the right wing leaning incest hicks of America, I guess. So
MovieBob he's one of those weirdos who's against good. He's against bad things and for good things. What those things are, they differentiate between from day to day. It's just I am against bad things and for good things. I want good things and I don't want bad things. This is the usual stance of far left SJW weirdos.
He sighed, like, thank goodness it's good, after watching The Last Jedi. And it's like, what?
Well, it's anything to do with republicanism or having different politics than someone else. Like, that's bad. So whatever your political view, if it's not his, it's bad, it's wrong, and you should probably be dead.
I think MovieBob is from Bizarro World. Everything is the opposite. So if it's good, it's bad. If it's bad, it's good.
That whole
that's too much logic.
That diet with McDonald's was a little hard to swallow. I was like, is that physically possible? I don't think so.
Wait, what? A diet with McDonald's?
Oh, I can't remember the post he made on Twitter, but he was saying this is for an average person at a fast food place.
Oh, I remember that now.
Utterly insane. That was utterly insane. It's just like, are you kidding me? You would die. You would die.
It explains his physical size.
No, I think it was a joke. There's no way. Even he would be like, that's kind of ridiculous. So,
MovieBob and joking doesn't seem to fit well together. And considering his physical size, I could believe it.
Well, let's just go back to the main topic then, and neglect his possible size and possible dietary options as healthy or normal. So let's just keep on going. Goose, gay. I don't know if that's making a joke about being gay or you're just having fun. Either way, welcome to the stream. We appreciate all the attention the gay gets. It's always nice to be happy. So, and another one in succession. Thank you, Goose, again. Nerflix. We must keep the bloodline pure. Netflix. What is going on? Is that
Netflix relating to incest?
Is that what they mean by lesbian incest? By keeping fantasy cat girl and fantasy blonde chick the same? I don't know. I have no idea how this family works.
Well, it's kind of like, keep the bloodline pure. Don't let the genes be corrupted by having your sister. Two sisters.
Maybe they have some magical way to procreate in SheRa that we don't know yet. It's possible.
Oh, so we're using Targaryen logic from Game of Thrones, where they don't look uber messed up from several generations of screwing their own siblings.
Possibly. We don't know because we haven't seen too many males that actually like females in the SheRa show, at least from what we saw from Renegade Cut. So it is possible. There are some other ways they get children.
Oh, they're sisters in the sense they're brought up together, not blood. Okay, thank you, Semantic Dragon.
Here's another.
Maybe it's a stork. Maybe they get babies by storks.
Magical flying rainbow storks. That would do it. Yeah. That want to fight the patriarchy or whatever the hell that freaking unicorn Pegasus was. Hierarchies are bad. Like, what? Even though you're in one. Like, oh, right. Here's another one from Bogue. It makes animation history by ripping off Utena. See, anime did this like 30 years ago. Yeah, the Japanese don't give a shit. They're like, hey, let's do a lesbian luge in our movie. It's like, what? Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Utena High is an
intelligence. What is that?
It's an acid trip with lesbians fighting with swords. I don't know what's going on in that anime, but I remember watching it. I just don't remember what it was about. And we have one from Mad Courier 6. Thank you again. Heterochromia, animal traits, incest. Is this an anime? You know what? It's sounding like one, only with the North American sensibility.
It's trying to ape. I think it's trying to ape anime in some ways.
With horrible animation and lots of colors and lesbians. I don't know. Not doing
okay, never mind. It's not. Okay, this is the AIDS-ridden cousin of anime.
That's a Ooh, that's painful. Ooh, just thinking about that. Oh, how do I make an analogy out of an autoimmune deficiency syndrome in relation to a North American animation? Oh. Okay, well, I'll get back to you on that one. Goose, thank you. Began, the Clone War has, yes. They're cloning Japan and getting it wrong. But that's okay, because Netflix needs its shows.
Yeah, they have no idea. They like anime. They like the quirkiness of anime, but they don't know how to actually use it in their own works. It's like, oh, that's cool. Let's put it. I want to put that in my work, and they do, and they don't know how to use it at all.
Well,
it's kind of.
I would argue that Castlevania guys know what they're doing. So.
They do.
Whether you like the story or not is up to you, but the animation's pretty good.
Oh yeah, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, as Aura Master DX is saying, nothing but pastels. Yes, it's pretty much a giant palette of pastel colors and rainbows, and everything's faded. It's all bright colors. Yeah.
Safe space coloring.
It's you got to have that. That was it, bisexual lighting, whatever they call it.
Yeah, it's bisexual lighting.
Like, is that what they call it?
The bisexual lighting. It's literally what they call it.
I was taking this Squidward reference, but never mind.
It's mainly what purple or something like that. It's like what was it? Fuchsia. I think it was called fuchsia. Basically, they boiled it down on the Mary Sue with an article, and they say, okay, this is bisexual lighting, and this is what this is why this particular color is bisexual lighting, is because the answer boiled down to is basically the Mary Sue of lighting. So that's what they chose it. The Mary Sue of colors. Purple is the Mary Sue of colors.
I'm pretty sure it's a coincidence. I'm pretty sure they just liked the color at the time.
Oh, it's the full color palette of pastel. No, it's everything.
Mace Windu's sword is bisexual. His laser sword.
I wonder how you got a Star Wars reference so early there, Shiny. I thought you were waiting on that one, but okay.
Yeah.
Look, I'm just tired today.
All right, well, we'll just keep going then.
Well, you're about to get more tired.
Oh.
Final season's drop of episodes, without getting spoiled on, if not the ending, the big question of the series' central relationship, well, you probably should have either carefully muted or logged off your social media altogether over this weekend. Because after
please don't spoil the show for me, MovieBob.
Oh no, what would we possibly do if he told us?
I don't care.
The exciting conclusion to pastel teammates and whatever these... Are these enemies? What arm cannons?
Someone in chat just said Mace Windu's sword's a lesbian sword.
Oh. I don't know. That doesn't sound right.
I don't think anyone would be watching a video that says SheRa's game-changing ending and not expect spoilers about the ending.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean, you would think that, but then I have to question if his followers have about the same amount of brain cells as he does.
No one would be on this
very little.
No one would be on this video if they weren't expecting spoilers.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch the video that talks about the ending. Damn it, they talked about the ending and spoiled it for me.
Yeah.
No one does that.
Thanks, MovieBob. Okay, let's just see what he has to say.
The once controversial, if for very silly reasons, standalone 21st century reimagining of the one-time Masters of the Universe spin-off had built a much larger and certainly more devoted fan following than many had ever expected, which had been waiting on edge not just to see if the good guys would win, but if love would conquer all, and if one manifestation thereof in particular would actually play out to prove this, and make a bit of cartoon history in the process. So waiting was apparently not on the table for a plurality of devoted viewers who immediately dove in and binged.
Sorry?
What's the thing this cartoon's going to have done that sets it in history?
That there was a...
Well, LiteratureDevil, your logo just killed my PC.
There was a
cool.
actual lesbian kiss.
What is going on with your PC? What's happening? What's going on, Shiny? What are you talking about?
I was trying to do something with LiteratureDevil's logo, which he commissioned me to do. And it kind of, I don't know what's happening with my PC right now.
It sounds like you're far away. I was like, what happened to you? Did you just kill your microphone?
I'm currently on my iPad. I'm on my iPad. My PC is kind of a bit frozen.
What the hell's going on?
That epic.
I I turned the water simulation up a bit too much. The resolution.
It seems as though
Oops.
It seems as though MovieBob is trying to kill us as we're trying to defeat him.
I mean, I don't call this a defeat. I just call this I fucked up.
All right,
no,
well,
like we're
get better there, Shiny. I don't know what you're doing, but hopefully it works out for you. Here's a super chat from.
What exactly?
Sorry.
I was going to say, what's the thing this cartoon's supposedly done that puts it in history as something to remember?
Two girls kissed.
So what? We've had like a cartoon that has quote unquote done the first lesbian kiss like 4 times now.
In the 90s.
That doesn't count. Doesn't count. They always have to be the first to do this.
Didn't we have Legend of Korra and Steven Universe?
We did, but those are totally different. This is a new first somehow.
These are different firsts.
First interspecies catgirl SheRa kiss or something. I don't know. Whatever it is. They did the same thing with Black Panther. It was the first black superhero movie, even though Blade exists. They always say that, it's the first one. It's the first one.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if it is Korra. Was Korra gay in the end?
Korra and Asami walked off into the sunset holding hands, looking at each other and giving each other the sex eyes, but there was no kiss.
The rest of that must have played out in a Pornhub that I watched at some point.
I mean, we had Sailor Moon characters that have different sexualities in the 90s, at least. Other animes done this before, so we're aware of it. We've seen it. It happens. Entire relationships based off 2 people loving each other. Male and male, female and female, happens all the time. So, yeah, nothing fantastic. I guess it was the climax of the ending, I guess, that they announced their love and... Oh, by the way, it's been 5 seasons. We haven't figured this out yet. It's like, oh, really? This is a romance. Okay. Great.
Cool.
I'm all for good stories that end in climaxes. It's just we don't know the context and we don't know how this all was set up.
Anyway, yeah. Point is, this is not the first one, so it won't even be remembered as a trendsetter. It's just one of a couple others.
Yes, for sure. And this is like, we're talking decades ago, so...
Yeah.
So here's M16 Mojo. Thank you, Super Chat. Those kitten posters were wrong. My masturbation didn't kill anything. It created this crap instead. Huh. That's an amazing power you have there, sir. Only for good.
Yeah.
There's a warning from M16 Mojo. When you're feeling a little frisky, Netflix produces an animation special that involves palette swap or palette colors of pastels and strange storylines that go on for 5 seasons of poorly animated multicolored kingdoms that fight guys with hand cannons on them. I don't know what those enemies are, but okay. One more. Non-Vitae Rex, thank you, sir. Don't forget Captain Phasma. Oh, why? How can you forget Captain Phasma? How's this going to work out? The first female Star Wars villain.
Just because the writers forgot about Captain Phasma doesn't mean we did.
I don't know. I kind of forgot about it too.
I was excited that she was going to be in episode 7, and then it's like, oh, she's dead. And then she came back. Because why not? The power of armor? I don't know. How'd she survive that? Who knows?
She came back in Last Jedi, and then she died again. And then she just stayed dead from then on.
Maybe we should ask Phasma how you keep surviving. Maybe Palpatine would know that, or like to know that. Blows up into
space saved. I guess space was the thing that killed her in the end.
Yeah. Maybe those two shit teamed up and like, oh, we're immortal. It's like, really? Yeah. The story is showed us we were.
It was mortality that killed the beast.
Lenny the Shark, thank you, sir. MovieBob has a different attack for each of his enemies, headaches for EFAP, and tech difficulties for Smudcast. I don't know. I think the hardware is speaking through us in this magical way to tell us to stop watching MovieBob. I think that's Shiny just died. Oh, he's back now. I'm sure LiteratureDevil's going to die in about 5 minutes.
Oh no, that wasn't him. That was my computer after I made a mistake
Sure, yeah. You made a
simulation.
mistake. It's all my fault. Yeah, of course.
Well, word of advice: don't set your fluid sim to a resolution of 0.05.
For all the animators out there who don't know what they're talking about, I don't know what that means, Shiny. Can't help you there. Yeah. Both.
I know. I was wondering one thing about Captain Phasma. Has there ever been a backlash calling Captain Phasma Mary Sue?
Nope, I don't believe so.
Not that I recall.
She's been called bland.
Yeah, she's not
and characterless.
She's not
unforgettable
long enough to be given that kind of criticism.
No, but here's the thing. They say that we only call Rhea Mary Sue because she's a woman. So therefore, according to their logic, Captain Phasma should also be classified as a Mary Sue because she's a woman with power.
Holdo's not a Mary Sue. She's just very, very stupid.
The thing I like about Phasma is her plot armor is off screen, and she also has physical armor to represent this uniqueness about her. So it's like she has this bodysuit of plot protection, and we never see it work aside from when she literally gets shot with a blaster. You're like, oh, okay, that's cool. And then she comes back to life. You're like, wow, that's some really good armor. Everyone should have that.
Yeah, she comes back to life. She's very powerful. She's in command of things. She's with the top stormtrooper as far as we saw. She's the most capable, most competent, by far the most competent stormtrooper we see. And she's a woman, and there was no big fan backlash calling her Mary Sue or hating on her, really. Just saying, oh, yeah, she's kind of bland, or she didn't get that much screen time or whatever.
But what's character?
Or has no character. But what's the usual... Because Ray doesn't have a character either. But what's the usual this brush off that the Last Jedi Defenders give us? Is that, oh, you just hate women. You just call her Mary Sue because you hate women. You can't stand female characters being in charge of things or being powerful or having high ranking in movies. But they kind of conveniently forgot about how the fact that no one really complained about Captain Phasma or called her a Mary Sue. At least didn't call her Mary Sue. I think accepted her. She just could have been a better character.
That's a good question to see whether we could say these characters in this show have Mary Sue qualities. We haven't watched it, we can't say, but it would be curious to say, why does SheRa get the powers? That sort of can be handed about to other people, I believe. And they could also become SheRa. So, or rather, the princess can become SheRa, and other people can become SheRa. So there's a certain a Mjolnir quality to the sword. You have to be worthy of it of some capacity. So that's what we're looking for in the next He-Man. As the rumors spoke, as if was it the princess of He-Man or of the kingdom was going on a journey to go find the sword or something. So we're not sure if it's a story about her or she's just a side character, a secondary character, or she actually becomes He-Man as a result of using the sword. We don't know.
If I remember correctly, they tried to bring girls into the fandom, which is why they made SheRa originally. Didn't work out that well. It's still mainly a male audience that likes SheRa.
That's because you're making a sequel to He-Man, who, like, as far as I'm aware, had a very exclusive male audience. Usually, and that audience now is like much older. It's like the only people I ever talk about He-Man are people like my dad, and my uncles, and I never hear any of my aunties go on about it ever.
Okay, here's a super chat from Bogue. Thank you, sir. They made a series that is a knockoff Studio Trigger show. Okay, I'm trying to think of Studio Trigger. I think they did Kill la Kill. That was a while ago. But unlike Trigger, they don't have flashy animation to offset the terrible plot and writing. Oh, I'm wondering what that series is, but okay. I wasn't a fan of that studio, so I don't know what their special deal was and why people wanted to copy it. But I do know Kill la Kill was popular, and I tried watching, and I just could not get past the first episode. It was that bad for me. So even if it's popular, doesn't mean it's good or you're going to like it. That's what anime is all about. There's so much.
Kind of like how, despite the fact that Twilight is very popular, it's been panned pretty bad by a lot of literary critics.
Of course. There's so many series like that just, even post-apocalyptic stuff like The Hunger Games, I just tried reading that. It's like, doesn't read well. Maybe the movie adaptations are better just because they're more fun to watch. But
the movie adaptations are very streamlined in comparison, which actually I find makes them a better viewing experience than reading the book because it's less convoluted.
Really? I tried reading the book. I did not like it. So.
Yeah, also, like, you get out of the head of the main character more, and you're able to see actually stuff that's happening outside of her that you weren't able to see in the book because it's first-person limited.
Right, and it's not the most fun-paced. It's not the most... Well, it is convoluted to a point, but it's convoluted in places that don't need to be convoluted. So it's like they're describing the setting and the social structure and all this technology that isn't there and how people are starving and they're hunting and doing this. You're like, okay, that's great. This is like the first chapter. And you're like, okay, setting up stuff takes such a long time. So when you put it into a film or an animation, you're speeding things up. You visualize most stuff. So that's good to do. And that's why I hope, as Voice was saying, because I didn't watch the movies because I was too bored by the book to care. So hopefully because it's popular. They made a few movies. So they got it going. So.
Yeah.
And it's hard finding a post-apocalyptic story that adapts well, let alone is told well. So.
Yeah, Divergent was not very good. And then, the sequels got canceled after book. There was originally going to be part 1 and part 2 of the third book, but then they canceled part 2.
Yeah, those dystopian stories, man, they don't fit very well for whatever reason.
Yeah, you need to find something interesting in order to make stuff like that work. But we should probably get back to our eugenics fan.
Yes, before we do that, we have to read some super chats. We'll get right back. So, Jake the Surgeon, thank you, sir. SheRa has done nothing historic in any way, shape, or form. Literally everything Diabeto says is an inferno of garbage. Ouch. It sets no trend or breaks any ground. It baffles me how galaxy brains like Bob think this. Well, I guess you have the experience of watching the show. We do not. All we saw was from Renegade Cut, and it was constant females, pastel colors, a flying unicorn wants to smash the hierarchy of whatever.
And keep in mind that Renegade Cut, his video's topic was, here's why, basically it was trying to convince people why they should give SheRa a chance. Basically saying, appealing to people who haven't seen it. That's what the whole idea was of his video, as far as I was concerned. That's what the title implied, that he was making that video for people like us, people who haven't seen it, people who were kind of brushed off the show to begin with. Because, it's so good, guys, you got to give it a chance. So, if that's the case, which it seemed to be the case, he should have put all the good stuff in there. But he didn't put. Some people have described that the show has more stuff in there, like actually good plots or whatever it is, good characterization or something. Renegade Cat didn't show us anything like that. He just showed what he wanted us to see, which was all the stuff that we saw, which was the homosexual relationships and all that stuff. So, it's not bad. He kind of painted the show as if
selling point.
It's full of stuff. That's all it is. It's the way he put it together. It seems like that's all it is. It's a bunch of woke nonsense put together and pushed on the audience. So, not a very good video if he's trying to put it together in order to convince people to watch it, because maybe some people aren't really interested in that stuff. Maybe some people are just interested in answering the question, is it a good story? Is there interesting plot points? Are there good characters in there? Not really what Renegade Cut did.
Right. The setting seemed to be a female-dominated kingdom, when in the comments of the video, people are saying, no, there's guys in there. There's all kinds of guys in there. I only saw a few of them in the Renegade Cut presentation. So we're like, is this like the proper representation of a good story, showing all the women in power and all the strange political messages that are sort of underlying everything. It's like, that's nice, but it's not why you watch cartoons or watch interesting stories. You want to see the world. You want to see the characters. You want to see the reasons for doing stuff. You don't want to see a rainbow of color and some weird happy Dungeons and Dragons version of this fantasy setting. It's kind of like, this doesn't really appeal to me. So, sadly, did not cause us to run out and go get a Netflix subscription and start watching some cartoons, unfortunately.
Even if I had the Netflix, I have the Netflix subscription, and I don't even go out and watch it.
Same. I much prefer to watch Hannibal or Breaking Bad.
Oh dear, that's a bit different than SheRa. I will say that.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's interesting. Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting
Hannibal is probably the most morbidly creative show I have ever watched in my entire life, and I'm only on season 1, and I'm kind of like, how are they going to top this? This is kind of nuts.
Well, Hannibal is actually alternate history, so it's not it goes into the movies. It follows kind of the trajectory of the movies. Kind of reversed though. Like it's if you watch the movies, Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal, and Red Dragon, it's kind of switch Hannibal, and they put the events of Hannibal before Red Dragon.
Okay, that's interesting.
And there's no Clarice. It's all Will Graham.
Is there Buffalo Bill?
No
Buffalo Bill.
Really?
I'm
interesting.
We know the kind of love relationship between Clarice and Hannibal. There is no Clarice, so it's just Will Graham. They still have the will they, won't they sort of thing going on. It's pretty good though. It's a really good way that they do it. I like it. I ship Hannibal and Will Graham.
So here we are suggesting other shows to watch on Netflix aside from the topic at hand. That's great. All right, let's go with the super chats, then we'll keep going on the video. Jake the Surgeon, thank you again, sir. It also astounds me how this Ann at L discharge gets praise for things done by better shows made 15 to 20 years ago. I would say 30 years ago. But yes, whatever is modern has already been done by the Japanese a long, long time ago. So,
In a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah. And Netcat, thank you. He-Man was in 2 more episodes of SheRa than SheRa was. Really? Huh. Interesting. That's a strange way to showcase a show with another character from another show.
Shows who they were appealing to.
Yeah, it's like, hey, watch this other show. It also has He-Man and that other chick you might care about. Oh, you don't care about. Okay, we'll just keep having He-Man then.
Or just draw her in a way that's really attractive.
Yeah, it's kind of like having Star Wars. It's like, well, it's not really about Darth Vader, but here's more Darth Vader. Yeah, he's cool. Okay.
Well, I'm told that, didn't they draw SheRa like a boy?
She has
in this edition,
SheRa looks like Dean Venture from Venture Brothers.
Masculine characteristics.
In this edition, yes. In this edition, yes. In the old one, I've only seen pictures, but she actually looks like a woman.
Not the most feminine.
If you complain that, hey, how come SheRa doesn't look like a woman anymore? How come SheRa looks like Dean Venture in a dress? They will call you a creep because she's underage.
Okay. She doesn't look underage in this.
Yeah, she doesn't. She looks like a woman in that one. In the original one, she looks like a full-grown woman. And this one, they make her Dean Venture in a wig. And if you say, how come she doesn't look like a woman like she did in the old SheRa, they will call you a creep and a predator and all that stuff because she's underage. Why you
Is this supposed to be like a prequel?
No, it's just a revamp.
Yeah.
Oh, it's why is she underage in the revamp?
That's a good question.
You know why? You know why, Shiny.
I just don't.
There's creeps involved, but it's not us.
Oh, that reason.
If you know anything about Hollywood, it's there are creeps involved.
Yeah, and we don't watch this show. MovieBob does, which I'm wondering why.
Hey, I have nothing against people watching cartoons. I just want to know why. Like, what is the thing? Is it politics? If it's politics, then this is not the show for you. This is probably the wrong show to watch about politics. I doubt there's that many politics in it about conquering kingdoms and this and that.
I imagine it makes the soy running through MovieBob's intestine-sized veins throb.
Jesus, what a description! Holy crap! All right, let's get one more super chat and go back on the video. Lenny the Shark, thank you, sir. MovieBob used distraction, very effective. Yes, MovieBob is almost like a Pokemon character at this point.
Mm-hmm.
What his powers are, we don't know. He has to evolve into a critic.
That's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Entire bloody thing, and if you thought you felt a ripple in the force on Friday, May 15th, as though thousands of perpetually disillusioned fandom hearts exploded all at once with the shock of not disappointment for a change, yeah, that's what all the commotion was about.
I kissed a girl.
Ah! What? She said she just kissed a girl!
Damn it, Beavis. I know. That's what I was trying to tell you when you were talking about...
No, it wasn't the only thing in the suitably frenetic and action-heavy climax that happened, but in terms of the reaction ratio between things fandom was hoping for and, wow, haven't seen that before, period, the gravity should be fairly self-evident. The title heroine, an established legacy character of not inconsequential pop culture stature, and her principal female nemesis to frenemy unambiguously declared romantic love for one another, mutually reciprocated, and saved the world with a kiss.
So many feelings, I don't know what these feelings want from me.
Save the
Going
world
by the
with a
outpouring
kiss.
of, pardon the somewhat unavoidable pun,
that sounds
adoration
dumb.
from the series fans and the mutual
Does
binging
sound
aftermath for fans of female-fronted genre fiction.
I have a question. Did He-Man ever save the world with a kiss?
No.
Not that I know of.
As far as I am aware, He-Man is an utterly romanceless and sexless show.
I know he picks up mountains
it's
and
good.
throws them, so...
Yeah, He-Man is a He-Man. Everything that's the implication stuff are just that. They're just implied. Like all the homoeroticism, it's not real homoeroticism. It's just implied.
It's the 80s. You have to have buff guys with really rippable shirts with hearts on them. It's just,
It's
that's
awesome.
the 80s.
That's why
Yeah.
80s was the best. 80s was the best. You had the big
and
muscular masculine guys. It was
With
fantastic.
Listening to synthesizers on boomboxes, like that's pretty much why you have the 80s.
And see, Jake the Surgeon has an awesome super chat for $5. Bring up how masculine SheRa looks. You're a creep. Get excited about said character making out with another underage character. Perfectly fine. Yeah. Yeah. How about that? Because when this came out, I commented on it. I commented on the original post. Hey, Rick, I'm out with a new SheRa show. I was like, how come she looks like a boy? And yeah, I got called a creep. Yeah, she's underage. You're a weirdo. You're all that stuff like that. So everyone who criticized her even mildly got called like a creep and a predator. You're just an evil man or whatever it is. So okay, they're underage, so therefore you can't criticize the fact that she looks like a Dean Venture in a dress. However, you put this supposedly underage character and make her make out with another underage character. Apparently that's fantastic. Apparently that's okay. It's perfectly fine.
I guess so.
That should be celebrated
so.
and beloved. It's an awesome scene.
Why does she have to be underage? You could easily, if it's a revamp, then you could just have the characters be the same age.
You're revamp. Make more camp. A sci-fi show from yesteryear.
She looks like she's 12.
Yeah, and they make her look younger here. She doesn't look underage in the original SheRa. She looks like at least an 18, at least 18 in the original SheRa.
I don't know. She looks quite mature.
Like 22. Yeah, she looks like she's like 22 or something.
Okay,
I'd say older than 22.
I would say way older than 22.
Their idea.
Yeah,
it was their idea to make her
maybe 30s, maybe.
Yeah, I'd say
older.
closer to 30. She seemed like a mature, strong woman who was still active and pretty athletic and chopping stuff in half. So she was pretty strong. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was their idea. It was their conscious decision to make the new SheRa look like an underage boy.
The only thing I can think of is if it's a prequel. I wouldn't know if it was or was, but apparently, as you said, it's just a revamp.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with actually having characters like that. Like you look at like Sailor Moon; these are all high school students, and they do have lots of romantic themes. But it's never it's never this like big deal. Like they had two a lesbian relationship. I think this is even post 18 years old. Was it Sailor Uranus?
But imagine taking like Luke Skywalker in the remake of A New Hope. They make him, what was it, 12? It's like, why the fuck have you made Luke Skywalker 12? It's like,
Oh, if you complain about that, you're a creep. You just want him to be he's underage. Why you want him to look like a man already? That's creepy. Creeps.
They remake Mass Effect. Commander Shepard's a child. So what the fuck is Commander Shepard a child?
Look, only creeps would actually like this new version of SheRa. The creeps don't want the people the targets they creep on to look mature. That's why they're creeps. Okay, that's why they're creeps in the first place.
I could understand if they maybe like I don't know, made her like less attractive because of their. Like, I don't think they should do that, but I understand if they kept her the same age, covered her up a bit more, maybe made her less pretty because that's just how they like to go. But full up making her a child.
And here's the thing also is that, as Mudboy mentioned, there's a lot of shows out there, anime and Western productions included, that have teenage characters as main characters, and they get into romantic relationships, including kisses and further down the line, and that's perfectly fine. I mean, it's all fine because we see it and we accept it. Like, okay, it's teen drama. It's teen drama. It's fine. But it's these people who support SheRa who always bring up, oh, she's underage, that sort of thing. When you have the most mild criticism of her, so it's them who are bringing this to the same playing field. So we're playing. If we want to play by the playing field that they set up, it's us saying, "Hey, why don't she look more mature?" And then them calling us creeps because she's underage. And then the same people who said that are probably celebrating the fact that the underage characters that they say are underage, that you can't that you're creeps for liking if they're underage, are kissing, and now they're celebrating it. So, but essentially, they condemned you for criticizing her for being underage because you're not supposed to like her because she's underage. And they are now celebrating a conclusion that ends with two underage girls kissing.
I see. You're an idiot.
As the old saying goes, if they didn't have double standards, they would have no standards at all.
Yeah.
Pretty sure they have no standards anyway.
Yeah, they have no standards. They have inconsistent standards.
There's clearly an audience for it, so people would not have had made 5 seasons, so people obviously were watching. They got renewed by Netflix to make more, so there is an audience, and they like it in some capacity. So obviously,
for some reason,
something. Obviously, they're getting what they want, and if they think it's a good ending and it's this magical, wonderful thing, that's very anime-like. There's always some power of friendship, power of love, that sort of thing, and even Sailor Moon, that was a big theme. So the power of your friends, the love you have for your future. Well, it's kind of a strange story in Sailor Moon. You have your future daughter who's come back from the future to help you out in your fight against evil or what have you. So these elements are there. They're nothing new. It's that they're advocating this now as this big special thing because this is their show. It's like, all right, fine, great. Tell us what makes it good. Show us, please.
I think it reminds me, boy, that it wasn't made for us. It was, however, made for MovieBob, though.
I guess. I want to know. I want to know what makes it good. Okay, so Jake the Surgeon, thank you, sir. Again, some of these people.
I really want to make an offensive comment towards MovieBob. I really want to.
We'll see what he has to say. Some of these people make me want to watch the world burn as I lead my armies to cleanse them all. Oh my, that sounds like some sort of heretic behavior you've got going there, Jake the Surgeon. I don't know what you're up to there.
Don't worry, the world's already burning.
Are those the words of MovieBob or something?
I don't know.
I know MovieBob wants to cleanse the world of heretics or something. I know he wants a nerd.
Yeah, like he wants bullies or whatever to be, what was it, like genocided or something?
Yeah, he wants a nerd master race, and he wants to commit literal genocide.
Yeah,
I've said this before. Like he seems like a kid who was bullied and really is held onto that and not handled it well at all.
Yeah.
It's like, by God, man, he's still like, if he's his age and he still hasn't let go of it. The fuck's he doing? It's like, I'm gonna murder Bull. He's like, I mean, are they gonna be the same person as they were? Like, what are you, 40? So like 30 years ago, maybe? I mean, people change a lot in 30 years.
Not MovieBob.
No, MovieBob just kind of stews in his hatred of the bullies.
MovieBob is a static character, okay?
I'm sure he's victimized himself as well. No, I don't think he's static. I think he probably got worse.
He had negative growth. He just kept changing and having arcs. And he just...
I mean, not all of his growth is negative, but yeah, probably.
All right.
Jonesing for A-list LGBTQ representation, the only thing that could have painted the day a few more shades of rainbow were if perhaps one of the other long-standing will they
Is that supposed to be a guy or a girl?
We don't know. It's hard to say. We think they're all women, though, because that's all we were showing with Renegade Cut. So.
It's not even a joke either. It's legitimately hard to say. Some of these characters, I was like, is that a girl? It turns out to be a male character. It's really hard to tell with this animation. Because all the women look like men and all the men look like women. And it's not an exaggeration. That's literally what they look like. The way they're drawn. Men are drawn with a lot of feminine features. A lot of female characters seem to be... Yeah, I guess, maybe.
One sec. I want to see what He-Man looks like in SheRa.
Is he in SheRa?
No, I don't think so.
I don't know.
Did someone say that He-Man appears more in SheRa or something?
Well, the original, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, it just seems as though...
was the original SheRa show?
Yes.
For sure?
This is not original in any way, shape, or form. This is a bring back nostalgia bait show.
Yeah, I'm looking at online. There is no example of He-Man in SheRa, so they completely omitted the He-Man character in the reboot or the remake. So,
yeah,
of course. Why would you have a masculine buff guy?
Why would you have? Why would you do that? The whole character is about, or the whole story is about SheRa for 5 seasons, and you shouldn't deviate from that.
And he almost looks like fucking Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah, it's great. He's a big burly man with some sort of.
I could imagine Arnold Schwarzenegger playing that. I want to see Arnold Schwarzenegger in his prime play He-Man now.
That'd be perfect. Or Dolph Lundgren or something.
Yeah.
Dolph Lundgren played him in the actual He-Man movie.
Dolph Lundgren played him in the original. Because Dolph Lundgren is perfect. He's already naturally blonde. And he's really muscular. And he's really tall. Like, Dolph Lundgren is... He's like the modern day Lex Luthor if he wasn't so nice.
He's a really smart guy. He's a really smart dude.
Oh god, no.
He's an absolute genius.
It put in quotation marks. What are you complaining about? You get to look at women.
Oh,
yeah.
No.
You think they are, but we're not sure.
Who said that? I forgot who said that.
Problem.
That was Major Lee.
Yeah, it was Major Lee.
What if we don't want to look at women all the time? What if we wanted to look at a masculine man like He-Man? Okay.
I remember Rags' reaction. It's like, yeah, old crazy Laura Dern and Rose Tico. I get to look at some great eye candy.
Fantastic. All right, you're certainly giving us a feast for the eyes with this.
Laura Dern has never been sold as like a super attractive lady. Like, she's almost like everybody knows her as the botanist chick from the Jurassic Park movies.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the only major like.
I didn't even know they were the same person until someone had pointed it out to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, how are these? How is the same actress playing these characters?
Yeah, because Ellie Sattler is extremely charismatic and likable, and she makes good points against the rich white male, because the rich white male is kind of a dumb idealist.
I forgot what the guy's name is that owns the park now. Not owns the park, but designed the park. Hammond or something.
That would be John Hammond.
John Hammond, yeah. Hammond, he's like a really good character. He's one of my favorites, just because of like how flawed he is. Like he's usually like he's the kind of the granddad who is like what at least you think he was more wise, but he's following this really flawed dream of like it's like I wanted to make something real that he made a flea circus and it was all illusions and he didn't want that.
Yeah,
and it was
that part.
And like he was really stuck to his dream and he wouldn't let it go. It's like, oof, that's good. It's a good character. Why can't we have characters like that anymore?
Yeah.
Anyway, back to what I
Back to the topic at hand.
The idea of you get to look at women. Well, how the fuck do you tell if they're women or not in this show?
Right. And again, there's nothing wrong with having a show of any denomination. We don't personally care. It just does not appeal to us. There's nothing to hook us in when we see the animation quality, the color palette, and the supposed content or themes therein. It's just sort of, not really our thing. So if people want to praise it, great. You got what you wanted. But we still have to understand what's so great about this ending, and we still haven't figured it out yet. So
we need actual characters and a story and a plot to hook ourselves onto.
Yeah.
We can't just
tell us,
show us this because politics.
Right. It's like the power of love saves the day. Great. I'm all for that theme. Show us how that's special and done and is like cartoon history. Like, what does that mean? Like, show us. I want to know. Because that's important. If there's cartoon history to be made, I want to see it. And I don't think this is it. So, let's go to Jake the Surgeon. Thank you, sir.
I would definitely concur.
Jingle the rainbow-colored keys in front of Bob, and he'll clap like the troglodyte he is. Okay, well, that's a little bit mean. But
I could say some much meaner things about Bob. Just let me at him.
Well, I don't know what makes
I'm
Bob
ready,
happy.
I'm ready to say those things.
But Bob is a smart guy, whether we are aware of it or not. He does have a command of vocabulary that most of us do not have, and he's very passionate about his opinions. So, I still want to have his understanding of the ending here, and I want to know what's special about it.
I think, it seems as though it's just two main characters that are on the A list of this particular show had a same-sex kiss. I think is the main argument that he's making, and that is significant.
It has to be more than that, though. It has to be more than that. It can't just be, I love you, we kiss, magical power, save the day. It has to be more than that.
Yeah. So far, like, that's all he said, though, but hopefully he elaborates.
Right.
Yeah, hopefully you'd have, like, actual characters with motivations, and, like, you'd develop them over seasons, the relationships you develop.
Boring, instant lesbianisms.
Yeah. So supposedly, like, they used to be enemies, then frenemies, then friends. That's how this developed, and now kiss, I guess. I don't know. That's just how he's described it.
It's better than just having them as friends and then voila. It's a big mystery. Because it sounded as if the love thing was like, what? You love me? Oh, I didn't know that. I love you too. It's like, oh, really? Oh. It's like, well, okay. You guys could have had a conversation for like 2 seconds before all these explosions started happening. So, again, we missed the context. I want the context. I want the descriptions. I want the setting to be explained. I want to know what the magic is. That's what you do when you say something is revolutionary or groundbreaking. You give context. Mm-hmm. That's all I want. That's all I need.
Yeah.
In a similar vein were to have paid off properly, which in fact then happened. Same day.
We did it.
Granted, that second one was in much different context. Harley Quinn is a decidedly adult-targeted animated series, and in that case, the payoff was actually in keeping with a couple decades, give or take, of established prior characters.
I also want to point out that the two circumstances are very different. As for one, that kiss isn't treated as the start of a relationship. In fact, after it's kind of causes a lot of issues between No, it's not a joke by any means. It causes issues between Harley Quinn and Ivy, because Ivy's going to get married to someone else, and Quinn realizes that she likes Ivy, but there's nothing she can do about it, as Ivy's already chosen someone else. So it's not just wham bam the start of the relationship. It's they say, "You look, we made something silly and all that kind of stuff." And Ivy,
there's plot to it.
Yeah, there's that. It's more. It's not just they kiss. Or they call it a mistake. But Ivy, and again, Ivy's getting married to someone else, and the Harley loves Ivy, but she can't do anything about it. If that explains it all.
Can we also point out that MovieBob seems to believe that Harley Quinn in this current show is canon continuation from Harley Quinn 20 years ago?
I don't think that that's what he is saying necessarily. I think that what he's saying is that it's been hinted at. It's been hinted at through several years, but this is kind of just going all the way with it after a while.
Is this whole thing about MovieBob?
He worded it as if it was like character development from 20 years ago of this character. It's the same character.
Yeah, it's not. They're two totally different characters.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: is MovieBob's whole point here is that he's glad that the whole kiss in SheRa is much better or something like that because it's.
I think he said they're both happening at the same time or something.
No, I mean it's because he's pointing out the fact that the Harley Quinn Ivy kiss is like, oh, it's much different context because it's happening for adults. So is it fantastic or much better in MovieBob's eyes because this same-sex kiss happened for kids because it was specifically targeted? Is that what the point he's making? That this is great because it's being targeted towards kids. Is that what he's making? He's the one that brought this up. Well, is that his whole point?
Oh God! Someone said, "MovieBob, you get to look at lesbians." Well done. You said that was the good kind of gay on one of the other streams, so
I'm
fine with that.
You get to watch two cartoon women kiss.
You get to look at two cartoon underage women.
You know, on that point, every time you bring up the fact that every time you even remotely bring up the concern of can these female characters stop looking like men, they say, "Can't you, porn is free? Go somewhere else and jack off, okay?" And then on the other hand, they say, "You get to look like women. What's wrong with this?" Make up your mind, okay? You're giving us mixed signals here.
Honestly, I don't know what side of the political spectrum Lee falls under, to be perfectly honest.
Under the retard spectrum.
Lee has his own category.
Lee is very strange.
Yeah, let's go with that. Lee is strange, and we can't quite figure out where he's on the political spectrum.
Because he says things like you get to look at women, and which is kind of a little bit sexism. I mean, it kind of rears on the edge of objectification.
There are other places you can go look at women, right? Right, Major Lee? Like, you can walk outside. I don't know.
Well, when you see Laura Dern and all those other ladies of The Last Jedi on screen, you're like, ooh, why would I go outside? I got these.
Yeah, it's like, they're fine, I guess. They're somebody's beautiful daughter, but not to me.
Yeah. Alrighty, we'll keep going.
Characterization, and potentially a direct response to said characterization having recently been walked back in other depictions to a negative response. But the coincidence of its same-day occurrence does help underline the fact that it's easy to almost miss how revolutionary SheRa's otherwise defiantly anti-dystopian climax actually was, even as, to dredge up a never-quite-stuck buzzword of the recent past, it doesn't get much more hope-punk than an apocalyptic battlefield being magically washed away by a sparkling Lisa Frank landscape for the victor and her girlfriend to giggle like schoolgirls in an awkward first embrace. After all, it's not exactly a secret that lesbian couplings are mainstream media's generally favored mode of public-facing progressive rep when it comes to LGBTQ inclusivity, both due to complicated social, economic, demographic, and algorithmic rationale, and also probably some more base rationales as well.
You know, when I see two girls kissing, it kind of gives me a special feeling.
Yeah, me too.
And even aside from that, queer rep in Western animation generally has been having a moment for quite a few moments now.
It's also
so there's certainly a
like if you have two women kissing rather than two men kissing, it's a lot more progressive to have two women kissing because obviously women are the more oppressed. Apparently,
they have more oppression points. They're higher on the pyramid.
Victim points, yeah.
What I never heard of hope punk before. I hope they never do so again.
Is that a genre?
Yeah,
what is that?
I think that's just something that MovieBob just made up off the top of his head.
He just gave it.
Whatever it is, I'm pretty sure if Ryan Johnson came near it, he'd just disintegrate, just burst into flames like a vampire to the sun.
Yeah.
But I thought rebellions were made on hope.
Yeah, that is the worst line in that
Hope
movie.
Punk.
Hope is like the sun.
we need to dive into this genre. What is hope punk? We gotta figure out what it is. We need to make something. We need to make a hope punk story.
Oh, no, you reminded me of that line. Oh my god, it's terrible. Hope is like the sun. If you don't, if you wait for it to rise, you won't make it through the night.
I keep thinking of like punk rockers in the 70s and 80s, like all skinheads and like rebelling, but they're like really peaceful and kind. They're like, oh man, how's it going, dude?
I don't know. I think of steampunk more than I think actual punk. It's like, what the fuck?
I can't help but think or imagine how proud the writers were for coming up with that line.
I don't even think they came up with. I don't think they came up with it. This just seems like a stupid MovieBob thing to come up with.
No, I mean the line "Hope is like the sun."
Hope
is like the sun. I'm not going to tell you that the sun is on the other side.
I could just see a bunch of, like the one writer comes in and says, "Oh, I got this line. Hope is like the sun," and
also,
the hope is like the sun line, and then they come in and say, and there's like a lot of group hugs and oh, that's so wonderful, and they go out for drinks and all that stuff. That's because they love the line so much.
Well, the problem is
there's also two huge different.
Well, it's just Ryan writing that line, so it's mostly Ryan who's the idiot in this situation.
So the line itself, the hope is like the sun. If you only believe in it when you can see it, you'll never make it through the night. There's a huge difference between a giant fleet that is trying to destroy you, that can apparently track you wherever you go, and you are running out of fuel, and you need a plan, and the sun coming back up, as it does every single other day.
Stay on target. Shining.
It's not like hope. Yeah. Hope is not like the sun.
Okay, here's the definition. And I never heard of this before, but this is a term coined in 2017 by Alexandra Rowland to describe genre fiction that is the opposite of ever-popular grimdark everything sucks and is terrible mentality. Okay, this is not a definition. I'm sorry. This is not how you explain something.
Okay, so it's like the opposite of a Zack Snyder film.
Hope punk stories are not specifically climate-focused. What? Climate-focused. And more importantly, do not necessitate hopeful worlds in the age of Trump, this basic act of extending another person's kindness.
Oh, what the fuck does Trump have to do with this?
It's specifically the age of Trump? Come on.
The age of Trump.
Of course, MovieBob would know this term.
Of Trump.
Of course he would know it.
No wonder I never heard of this term. It's like a brand new thing. It's a brand new term they made up just to complain more about Trump.
Yeah, this basic act of extending to another person's kindness rather than disdain or vitriol becomes a political narrative found in the writings of speculative fiction writers Becky Chambers and Cat Rambo. What? These are not names.
These people.
The only way I could.
Let's start a revolution. Okay, let's invade this genre. Let's invade the genre, make it our own. Just like they invade our Star Wars, they invade our Star Trek. Yeah. Let's have writers unite. Okay, writers rise up. Let's take over this genre. Okay, let's take it away from them. It's ours now.
Yeah, I
would want to take. It's kind of like Scotland. It's like, okay, why do we want to invade that little shitty space over there? I kind of like it.
If it's going to build the Hadrian Wall.
Yeah, build a Hadrian Wall around, the around, or was it Hope Punk, and that way that NC, what was it, the SJW barbarians can't get.
But I want to take it from them. I want to debunk their happiness, Shiny.
Yeah.
That's you don't need to take it over. You nuke it. You just fucking nuke it.
I have the way that I think that we can make hope our own is have like this sweet saccharine nerve in the middle, have a brutal red wedding style event.
It's a story that they like. It's like a hope-filled story that they love. But the main hero who brings everyone together, who brings everyone out of the darkness into the sun, is a billionaire president.
Yeah, or just the main character like utterly realizes, oh, the hope is asinine. I need to actually be pragmatic and kill my enemies.
Someone said the definition, which includes the phrase "in the age of Trump," isn't a definition.
In the age of Trump.
Like, is this an age? Like, for all we know, isn't the election happening at this point in America? I don't know. I heard things.
Who cares?
Oh,
So
he's getting
for all they
reelected. There's
know,
no question. So it's kind of.
but for all they know, he could not get reelected, and there's only like a limit. What is this? Why do people go crazy when Trump gets
at this point? There's actually a really good chance he'll get reelected, but he can't get elected for a third term. So
what was very surprising is like when Trump closed the borders to Europe. It's like, yeah, that makes sense. There's a fucking coronavirus going around. Why wouldn't you close the borders? And everyone started screaming at him that he closed the borders. It's like, if he didn't close the borders, then
they did.
Things would be worse than they already are.
He didn't close the borders. They yelled at him, and then he did close the borders, and then they yelled at him. They switched positions,
and
so
right
he'd
now,
be wrong.
It's about the riots. It's like, are you going to move in with the federal army? He's like, no, I'm not going to do that. But if he does, they're also going to yell at him if he does it. So it doesn't matter what he does. It doesn't matter what he says.
Yeah,
he's always wrong.
Yeah,
it's kind of their narrative. It always has been.
Yeah, they have nothing to say aside from we don't like Trump.
It's the Karen narrative. You're always wrong. They just want to yell at something.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get back on to MovieBob talking about. He hasn't really said much in the past 4 minutes, has he? I can't really remember what he was talking about.
Yeah, he hasn't said much. That's crazy.
We're getting through this pretty fast for a MovieBob video.
Hope Punk. I learned a new word.
I know the fault.
All he's done so far is like talk about lesbian kisses. That's all he's done so far for 4 minutes. 4.5 minutes. Lesbian. That's it.
Oral Master said, "Do we have an age of Obama?"
I think it was.
Yeah, it sounds
so dramatic. Like the age of Trump.
In the age of Trump.
Everything was fine, and then Trump attacked.
On Twitter.
The Trump Nation attacked.
Violently on Twitter.
Wasn't that like the name of Trump's radio or podcast? The Trump Nation?
Really?
It's as if Hillary would have been that much better.
Well,
the age of Hillary.
Let's just keep going on the topic at hand, shall we?
Yeah, let's keep going.
A temptation to look at this and say, yeah, okay, the 2020 incarnation of SheRa likes women. So what? Are we still throwing a parade every time a TV studio or toy company throws out a diversity bone? No, of course not. That's a classic straw man. It is true that LGBTQ representation in pop culture has come a long way, but still has a long ways to go. Broad visibility doesn't necessarily always mean broad respect, understanding, or proper depiction, yes. But what's missed in the focus on the prominence of the characters in this case, that SheRa is the main character of her own franchise, and that this ending effectively reveals the series itself main storyline to have been a meticulously crafted, unexpectedly nuanced, if appropriate to the genre, very melodramatic love story between two women, is that this...
Wait a second. I'm just noticing this right now. Are their eyeballs drawn differently?
She is... I know the cat has different colored eyes.
Yeah, but they have like pupils and stuff now. Before it was just dots. I was like, what's going on? Different animators? Like what's...
Maybe the budget got better? I don't know.
Not a good sign, but okay. Let's just keep going.
It's not.
This love story opted to offer fans, and in particular young LGBTQ fans, a rare not simply romance and happy endings, but of both unencumbered by the weight of reality's prejudices and barriers. Whereas many other series, particularly those with a presumed or defined youth audience that opted to approach such themes, often chose or were forced by fact of production, reality, to do so with the implied acknowledgement of real-world pressures and restrictions facing gay or bisexual relationships in the form of said pairings having tragic endings, occurring in the context of relationship triangles, wedded directly to one or both characters' coming out narratives, or even simply forced to exist as mere innuendo, like the
Are we just letting this go because we don't want to take on any of this?
Well, it's not hard, but he's not saying much.
Yeah, he's just kind of just saying it's been in the shadows and it's been limited to certain things because of the culture. And it's just like, I don't disagree with you there.
I think he just needs to get a video out or something. Like he was contractually obligated to put out a video, so he did, and he's filled it with word salads. You know, whenever I got assigned an essay, and you don't really want to do it, so you just fluff it up with nonsensical nonsense, like just words that don't mean anything, just so you can get your word count up.
I guess so. I know he did a half-assed Game of Thrones finale video like everybody else on the internet that was 5 minutes long. It was just like, okay, I guess. I'm amazed you watched the show.
Well,
it's a lot of adjectives, pronouns, and nouns. He just keeps going on and on about all these other pronouns, and just like, dude, we get it. Give us a clean sentence we can understand, please.
Go.
Hold hands. SheRa, while it did spend 52 episodes playing Mulder and Scully, its two main fixtures, made it jointly apparent that the series wasn't interested in setting up another, however inadvertent, monument to same-sex love being inextricably bound to the narratives of repression and compromise. Even before the moment when the series, as confirmed by creator-showrunner Noelle Stevenson, explicitly threw down the this is where we want to take it gauntlet in the fan-favorite Princess Prom episode in the first season.
Okay, hold on. So, hold on, wait a minute. So, this is getting ridiculous. So people have told me that this show actually they like the show, that it gets better, that there's actually some really good characterization and arcs here, and the story is actually really good. Eventually,
I'm gonna have to doubt that.
Yeah, maybe I haven't seen the show, but people have told me that the story gets really good. They like it, they like the characterization, whatever. But every single video about the show just focuses on the woke points. And nobody ever really explores the actual characters and the characterization. So we've listened to the MovieBob go on. Exactly. We've listened to MovieBob already go on for 6 minutes. And I have no idea what SheRa is like, what she cares about, what her values are. Is she like Superman? Is she like Batman? Is she like the Punisher? What is she?
Another thing is they go to a school dance. Oh, I'm so interested. And apparently there's other things that happen. Oh.
I know we get it. We get that she's a lesbian or a bisexual, whatever it is. But if you're going to talk about the show, talk about how build it up, like how maybe MovieBob could explore how they made this character from the LGBTQ section of people, made her really cool and go through all sorts of amazing things. Maybe he could have done that, just say, oh, cool, that's really cool, I want to watch that. Maybe that's a good representation. But no, all they do is focus on the one factor that she's either lesbian or bisexual, whatever it is, and you don't expand on the character or the story she goes through.
I'm actually.
I want to say to MovieBob, the ability to talk does not make you intelligent.
No, it doesn't.
That's true.
Please tell me someone gets that reference.
Of course we get that reference. It's Qui-Gon to Jar Jar.
Yes, good.
I'm interested to see why the cat lady gets her hair cut. Is she a secret skinhead towards the end of the series, or is she promoting Nazism?
Yes, she's alt-right to begin with, and then she turns far left to complete her character arc from evil to good, or something. So she goes from Nazi to communist. That's what she does.
No, she turned good because of the bisexual lighting.
Yeah, I'm still confused about the pupils. Honestly, I think everyone has different shaped eyes. Like SheRa has like full anime eyes or basic anime eyes. Catgirl has basically cat eyes. Other characters have no pupils. I'm just like, what's going on with all these eyes? Are they different species? Are they different races? Are they different colors for stuff? It's throwing me off because usually when you have an anime, everyone's drawn a certain way. They're consistently drawn to look and react a certain way emotionally and have facial emotions and what have you. But these characters are all drawn their eyes differently. I'm like, why is that? I've never seen that done before.
I think it's kind of trying to mimic anime because the anime they have a more more focus on the eyes, and they wanted to bring that over, but of course did it wrong.
But you focus on one anime, not all of them. Like, okay, well, this eye is going to be different, like shape. And they're like, what? No, you don't do that.
Usually, purpose in if an anime character has different eyes than usual, it's usually to convey some sort of message. Like if they have bigger eyes that are like a little shinier, or whatever it is, then it's signify that they're cute or innocent. If it's more narrow, it's to signify that they're more confident or more sly or evil. If it's if it's kind of like cat pupils, it probably means they're a beast or a cat person or they're possessed or something.
Yeah, and the whole heterochromia thing, it always annoys me every time I see it because it's one of those things you see that I don't know, girls do.
It's kind of uncanny valley-esque.
Part of it. It's kind of amateurish, really, for an artist to start coloring eyes different colors for the sake of it. I never liked it. I never liked that touch, and it's always a trope. Not always, but a trope in various anime and manga to have these characters with these multicolored eyes. It drives me nuts. Like, why is this? Why do they have different colored pupils? Why? Is there a reason?
It's also a Mary Sue trope.
Oh, really?
Mary Sue trait. Yeah. Usually it's called kaleidoscope eyes. Their eyes tend to change, or they have different eyes. But one thing about this is if MovieBob wants to obsess over the same sex thing in this show, fine, but he seems to be arguing that this is a good thing, and if you're trying to argue this is a good thing, can you give us points other than it exists? Can you say what if MovieBob said he started off his argument with people complaining about the same sex. Some people complain about the same sex kiss at the very end of the season or whatever. But here's some really good points. Here's the points about the character you may not know, like the character and the values of SheRa and the story she just went through to lead up to that kiss. He mentions it. He says they save the world with a kiss. He mentions it, but he doesn't go over the details. So how much better would it be? How much more convincing would it be to someone who may have brushed off the show? MovieBob said, yeah, there's same-sex stuff in there, sure, but here's some stuff you might not know. Here's something you might be interested in. So, yeah, they save the world with a kiss, but what leads up to that is this, and this awesome thing, and this awesome thing, this character development, this revelation, and really echoing into how SheRa as a character was challenged or something. And then we go, oh, okay, so it's not just propaganda, it's actually a good story.
Right.
But he doesn't do that at all.
When we want to tell someone, let's say I want to spoil an ending to you of a story, I say, I'll explain to you why it's very good. I'll go into the ideology or the conflicts or the character reasons and motivations why something works. And we don't get that from MovieBob. We just get, it was lesbianism, it was magical, and they saved the world. And you're like, okay, great. Can you tell us why that's good?
What if I just did a review on the original Star Wars and just focused on how awesome it was that Han Solo was straight?
Or just, or when he said that Rise of Skywalker was an 8 out of 10 without really describing anything of merit about
it. He said it was 8 out of 10. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, even people in his circle jerk, like Just Right, Patrick Willems, and School of Movies, thought it was like average at best and awful at worst.
Okay, I gotta watch that. Well, actually, I don't want to watch it, but now I'm more curious to watch.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know EFAP covered it along with Quentin's Rise of Skywalker rant.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I am having a blast.
Whatever it is you're planning, it won't work.
You sure? Maybe my plan won't work, but then again, maybe maybe it already has.
Cut, print, gay.
It had already established 2 sets of female supporting characters, one off-screen, one on, who were...
I'm evil. Okay.
That's not a sign of affection. That's honestly a red flag.
I'm evil. Let's make out. No, it doesn't work that way.
Also, isn't that kind of just proving the point of how surface levelly terrible it all is, just to pander to people?
Yeah, that was the first season, I believe. So maybe it got better after that, possibly.
Yeah, it got worse.
Well, it evolved into lesbianism, so I don't know what they were doing there aside from dancing, but
Forcing it.
Forcing the lesbian.
Ironically, they were forcing lesbianism down our throats, which isn't normally how it works, but, you know.
I guess so. It's just like, MovieBob, you are one of the crappiest advertisers for anything ever.
You know, I bet we could actually watch the show and probably make a better reason why the ending is good.
Yeah, because we actually go into detail and don't just compare stuff to other stuff, like saying Game of Thrones is more like Shrek than it is Lord of the Rings.
Okay, I got to think about that for a second. I know you just gave a random example, but I'm just like, whoa.
Yeah, no, like MovieBob actually said that.
Oh, you're kidding?
No, he said that. Yes, he said that Game of Thrones had more in common with Shrek.
What?
Right.
Okay, come on. No, that can't be right. There's no way he said that. That's ridiculous.
Yes, I kid you not. He said it. I will bet I have watched his Game of Thrones finale video, and he also says that the ending of Alf is worse, and he just says, "Oh, quit your yakking about it. It wasn't as bad as the ending of Alf. I've been waiting for years to see this concluded."
Okay.
I kid you not. This man's insane. This man is crazy.
All right. Well, that's no. I can't process. I'm trying. I'm just sitting there going.
Someone says because it has layers.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, wait, what? Like, these are not comparable. One's a satire, and the other one's a deconstruction. They're two very different things.
Okay, I think I have to take a break, but luckily there's a super chat for me to just default to because my brain is not working right now. Mad Courier 6. What's the evolutionary advantage to having just cat ears? Okay. Not any other animal traits. I'm just saying. I think she has a tail as well. I think
Does she have claws?
She does have claws. Yeah. You know, cat girls and people they love drawing anthropomorphic characters all the time. The Japanese are no different. So I don't know the species. I don't know the character. I don't know what she can do. But apparently, she is the most interesting character out of all of the cast of SheRa. And she's the main villain, or the secondary villain? I can't remember how they described her. But the main foil to the princess. So.
And they kiss, and apparently it makes everything better. It fixes the whole world.
I wish we knew why. Yeah, I wish we could understand why that ending's so good, but I still don't know. And I think that's it. I think that's all we're going to get. We can keep going, but we will. But I think it's just, oh, look, there's representation. And you're like,
yeah,
great. So what? What does the kiss mean? What does it represent? Can you tell us, aside from a kiss?
What has been the build-up? How have these characters developed as people to this point?
Right. Why do they love each other? What did they go through that made them not love each other or hate each other and that still love each other? That's kind of important to know when you're talking about a relationship with a magical power of affection. How does that work? How does the universe work? Is there a magic that is based off unity or friendship or relationships? That would be interesting to know. Like, when Rey can lift powers with her mind. It's like, if you know nothing about Star Wars, what's going on in this scene? How can she lift a mountain with her head? I want to know that. There's this thing called the Force, and it has this ability. And then you realize, how did she get those abilities? And we have no idea how. And then you go, oh, that's a bad ending to the movie, isn't it? It's like, yeah, we don't know where that power came from. You're right.
It was Palpatine.
Oh, yeah.
Palpatism.
Palpatism?
Yeah.
All right. Let's go.
And dating respectively, that main male character Bo behaved in a jointly attracted fashion to both male and female characters, and made reference to having two dads who turned up indeed as a married gay male couple in later seasons. Being a show for young kids, there's of course no indication that any of these romantic pairings extended anywhere beyond kissing, hand-holding, weddings, but suffice to say it was immediately and repeatedly established that in the world of this series, gender and sexuality were not rigidly adhered to priorities, by any means. In other words, there didn't seem to be a closet for either Adora or Catra to either be in or come out of on their planet. It never even comes up as a noteworthy question. So the entire what's going to happen between these two characters
writing.
So there's no concept of relationships aside from we're having one. You know, the great thing about relationships, whether they're homosexual or otherwise, is that people are aware of it and they talk about it. And they have more than one thing to say aside from, oh, it's happening or it's not happening. There's some stigma, there's something against it, there's something for it, there's some conflict. Wow, what an idea. A conflict about a relationship, like, I don't know, Romeo and Juliet, or any romantic pairing over the years that have any note, that the actual idea between the two lovers have problems between them. It's not just sometimes she's my enemy and sometimes she's not. There's a reason for that.
Yeah, what do they do with them exactly? MovieBob hasn't gone over what happens with these relationships. Like, because is there drama? Does it just kind of happen, and it just kind of exists because of for representation's sake? What happens with these relationships? Do they get do they get in trouble? What's going on? Like I said before, it would help me understand all of this if he went into because you don't watch. I don't think anyone or too many people watch the show just because it has representation in it. Because all you have to do is read an article that says, "Oh, look, they have a same-sex couple in this show. That's nice. I can go on to my own thing." It doesn't require you watching the show. What people tend to go to shows for is characterization and story arcs. So exactly what story arcs are in this show and exactly how are they characterized? Because we watched 2 videos so far. One of which was legitimately trying to get us to watch the show by giving us arguments that we should watch the show. I still have no idea what kind of personality or kind of character SheRa is, or any of the characters are. Not really.
It's not really selling the show very well, is it?
I think even a typical viewer of the show can describe what happened better than MovieBob did and say, hey, this is what happens, and then this occurs, and this is good because of this. You're like, oh, okay, great, thanks. That's all I needed to know.
Yeah. If MovieBob and Renegade got together, they probably still couldn't be able to put forth a good argument as to why you should watch the show. But they would be infinitely worse than anyone who's actually watched the show, because someone who actually watched the show knows exactly what we're looking for. Like, okay, what's characterization? Okay, characterization, cool. Story arcs, awesome. Same-sex couples in there, okay, fine. But I don't really care. What's the story about?
Maybe if he was trying to sell us on a diet, like eating all those hamburgers. Like, you really need to eat 12 hamburgers because they're delicious. You're going to get lots of energy. There's all this taste and all the flavor. You could put on condiments. If you don't want condiments, you don't have to. You have options for fries. You got options for drinks. You got there's lots of things to tell. Oh, wow, food. Okay, drink. Yeah, I gotcha. Like, tell me why I should eat this way, MovieBob. Why should I consume this media in front of me? It's really that simple.
What if I tried to sell you the original Star Wars trilogy by saying a man and woman fall in love?
Wow.
Go on.
Yeah.
Okay. I can watch a million other movies to see that happen.
That's like a sub-detail or a sub-event. There's like the big events that push the plot, and then there are smaller events that are sort of caused because of the plot.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, I mean, in what way? Like, if you were going to advertise Star Wars, there's more things you would advertise before saying, "Oh, there's a relationship in it." And unless who you're talking to is like a really crazy shipping person, then maybe.
Yeah, you'll get the crazy shippers to go in there and watch it because a man and woman fall in love. There's a romantic subplot in there. Therefore, they'll go see it. But normal watchers, like, okay, romantic subplot, go on. Because, again, Renegade Cut, MovieBob, they have not elaborated on this stuff. Okay, SheRa has a girlfriend. Go on. What led up to it? What are the surrounding circumstances? Is it during a war? Is it forbidden love? Because people love forbidden love. That's why Romeo and Juliet was such a big thing. They like the whole Capulets and the Montagues and how they can't get together, but they are. They fall in love either way. Same thing with was it Simba's Pride, this Lion King 2, Romeo and Juliet story. People like that forbidden element. That's why your Romeo and Juliet has remained such a prominent story all of these years. It just brings drama to the relationship. So what are the circumstances? What's going to catch our interest? Are they forbidden lovers? Are they not supposed to be with each other? Are they enemies, secret enemies? Or what's going on? MovieBob, Renegade Cut, just let me know something else story-wise other than they're just together and they happen to be same sex.
I'm just trying to go through the list of actual homosexual relationships, and it's been going on apparently since the 60s in animation. So that's amazing. I didn't even know about some of these. But a lot of them just came out in this year, actually. And that was all the beginning of the year because of, a lot of schedules for animation in Japan got pushed back because of the virus. But we have at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 this year that had lesbian characters. And that's just lesbian. That's not gay characters this year. So it's nothing. I guess I don't know. Maybe this one did it first in North America, but it's not a big deal. So we have to know why this ending is so historic, and we still don't know.
2 people kiss, and they're both women.
Yeah, that's all we know.
Wow.
That's 2 videos. That's all we know.
Yeah, and we're talking about this episode came out in May of this year, I believe.
It doesn't even make history because it's not even like the first of anything, so it can't even be like a Guinness World Record holder. It's like the 5th or 6th, and that's if we don't look back at the same relationships, as you say, in the 70s.
Right. I'm going through his list right now. There is a character called Jewel Star, who was a trans man in episode 5, season 5, called Stranded. He's a trans man voiced by trans male actor Alex Blue Davis. She also stated that she designed Perfuma as a trans woman, but she didn't tell anyone else she had designed her that way, so it never became canon. Okay. It's like, yeah, we drew this character to be trans, but we never said anything about it. It's like, why not? What was the point? Great communication there, design team. What are you doing? Okay. Leia Shark, thank you, sir. I believe that there is no such thing as bad tactics, only bad targets. Oh, that one I remember, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was Bob.
Yeah. Yep, Bob. Or it is unfortunate that the Nazis ruined eugenics.
Yeah, so according to that philosophy, terrorism is good, according to MovieBob. It's just that I think you could just wage terrorism against the wrong people. But MovieBob would totally be in favor of terrorism.
Yeah. It's probably one of the reasons why you didn't like Joker was because the unwashed masses are portrayed as the unwashed masses, even though they're protesting against the rich.
All right, we got 1 more minute.
And is allowed to exclusively be about the emotional characterization, how they feel about each, not how they feel about an entire gender. Now that might not sound like a big deal, but
yeah, what do you say? How they feel about it?
Explain this to us. You said it's got the characterization, the emotion behind it. What exactly? I mean, Yuri chastised people who are watching this video if they don't want spoilers. So obviously you're good with giving spoilers. So explain this to me. What emotional challenges? What you just mentioned emotional challenges and characterization on stuff. Go into it. What is it besides that they're together makes it so good?
That's the problem with Bob. He only ever goes into broad strokes details. He never goes into the nitty gritty or discusses the mechanics in anything other than the broadest terms. It's so irritating. He's like just right in that way.
I want to rehear this. Sorry, I just didn't get what he said.
Feel about an entire gender. Now, that might not sound like a big deal, but try and think about how many gay, bi, or trans love stories in media don't make prejudice or self-denial vis-a-vis is this something I want or am supposed to want a central part of the narrative. It's not many, whereas the answer to that same question for quote-unquote straight narratives is kinda all of them. And while there's a facing reality of the world as it is, not as you wish it aspect to that, escapism from the harsher parts of reality is a big part of why we have.
Wait, what? So his problem is that now it's not enough that it exists. It has to be propaganda and make us want it. It has to be structured in a way that, hello, audience, you want this. You're supposed to want this. If you don't want this, you're a bad person. When does that happen with normal, like straight, as he says, straight couples or heterosexual relationships? That it goes out of the way and says, look, you want this. Usually I took romances, traditional romances, as you want this, as in you want love, you want companionship, highlighting companionship and finding your one and one true love or whatever it is. Not heterosexuality is good and this is what you want. Because the yearning for companionship, the yearning for a one true love or the perfect lover, the one who will stick with you for the rest of your life, it's a universal want, universal need. It's very human, which is what usually writers should aspire to dive into. Not because heterosexual, therefore you want this. I think MovieBob is looking at this a little bit incorrectly, or at least not looking at the right things. Because romances are inherently human, and that's why you can probably have a gay person read a heterosexual couple getting together and like it. It's like you can have a heterosexual person look at a gay couple and like it. Because it explores the idea for the need for companionship. The one person that will stick with you for the rest of your life. The perfect or the ideal lover. Not one sexuality over the other.
He seems to put a big precedence over representation than actual quality of the relationship itself. It's like, maybe this relationship is a great story. We don't know. Maybe it's a horrible story. We still don't know. He hasn't described anything.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying he should tell us at least something about it, because we don't care that it's a same-sex couple. Okay, what they should be exploring there is the fact that it explores the idea of companionship, because that's universal. But he wants propaganda.
Yeah,
he just literally said he wanted propaganda. Like these shows that have same-sex couples need to be putting it out and structuring the plot and the arc. He said this, the arc and the plot, so that we are convinced that this is a good thing. That we need to be hammered into us. Apparently, according to MovieBob, that we want this. This is something that we were required to want or need or whatever it is.
It's kind of like having a themed website, whether it's like cancer or HIV or something. It's like, oh, you have a story about a character that has HIV. What a great story! That's a fantastic. Everyone should have a story with a HIV sufferer in there. It's like, did you watch the show? Did you read? Like, can you tell us why it's good? Like, that'd be nice. But they advocate for it, so therefore it's good.
Representation is on its own is meaningless unless you give it meaning with story and characterization.
Right.
Yeah, honestly, like if you don't give it good characterization, the audience will say, no, we hate this, and Hollywood will react to that and say, all right, we'll try and go for less representation because the audience is not responding to this. Look at Terminator Dark Fate and how everybody seemed to hate it and it make no money. Same with Birds of Prey.
Yeah, it's kind of having the opposite effect, I suppose, if you think about it.
And again, we don't care what the story is.
People don't think about it.
We just want to know what it is so we can say, oh, that could be good. Maybe I'd want to see that. But we have not been hooked in for any reason aside from there is representation. We're like, we don't care. That's not a reason to watch something.
If you say this thing is, if you say that same-sex relationships are good by the virtue of them being same-sex relationships, you're basically admitting that there is nothing beyond that makes same-sex relationships good. It is the most hollow description of what it could be. So you're taking away something. You're taking away from something you're trying to be boasting out because you say it's good because this is how it is.
Also,
tell me what makes it good. The construction of that.
Yeah. Also, that's. Also, it's not necessarily taking into account that abusive same-sex relationships happen in real life.
I doubt they're going to get into mature themes. Yeah, I doubt they would do that for. This is not even a young adult story. This is probably like for preteens, I guess. I don't know. Who is this for? What's the age group of this show? It can't be everyone.
The obvious question here is, why did we do this?
It's MovieBob. What do you mean, why? MovieBob is great. He's amazing. We have no idea what he's saying. He says so much.
It's fantastic.
So many words. So little time.
Always a fun time. Always a fun time, MovieBob. At the very least, he speaks at a reasonable speed.
Reasonable speed, yeah. Okay, let's keep going.
Part of why we have fantasy in the first place, especially fantasy for kids that helps them imagine not just alternate better worlds, but better possible futures. The now concluded SheRa reboot earned its positive reviews, long for Netflix 5-season run, and devoted fans by being well written and creatively produced, but I wouldn't be surprised if the special devotion in particular it appeared to earn from a generation of LGBTQ youngsters and the young at heart came.
Well written and well produced. Can you go into that, please?
Who thinks this way? Why is it good? Why is it bad? Tell us, show us, that sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly why is it... I know it has representation, but why is it good representation as opposed to bad representation? Because those two things can exist. You know what would be helpful to your argument, MovieBob, if you said that it's good representation because SheRa is noble. SheRa has all kinds of heroic virtues attached to her character, and that she faces challenges like heroes do, and she makes a heroic decision even if it hurts herself, and she also happens to be gay or lesbian or bisexual, and so that could be an argumentation for good representation, and this is good representation of a lesbian character or a bisexual character or something. But you don't go into that. You admit that it's well written. You admit that it has good production, but you don't go into that. You don't attach those positive elements of the show to the character of SheRa.
Right.
You don't say, okay, this is a good character. This is good representation because of these reasons, and these reasons being that the arc was good and the character is heroic. You don't do that, MovieBob. Despite the fact that you said that if you want to avoid spoilers, don't watch this video. So you're all right with giving spoilers. You know it's good. You know it's written well according to your own admission. You know it's produced well, but you don't give us anything else other than that SheRa is a girl who likes other girls. That's basically all you give us.
Right.
He asserts that it's well written. But he doesn't go into the proof in the pudding that it is.
The two classic examples I can think of like groundbreaking or whatever you want to call historical examples of kisses or romance. One was in Star Trek in the 60s and one was in Star Trek DS9. The first one, and there's context for this, it's really easy to grasp. Kirk and Uhura are being controlled by some telekinetic, telepathic, whatever aliens, and they're trying to entertain them. So he's being forced to kiss this woman. It doesn't matter that she's black. It doesn't matter that he's white. It's the thing of science, or science fiction rather, that we can wrap our heads around. There's a reason why this is happening, even though maybe in the 60s that wasn't the most acceptable time to do it. But because of the science fiction, because of the fantasy elements, you could say, oh, this is why it's happening. So it's not necessarily the desires of the individuals. Now contrast that to DS9, where you have these two characters. It was Jadzia Dax and another Trill symbiote, I believe. So they have
one which was it female in a past life and now is female.
Exactly. So we have all these scientific or fantastical reasons why these scenes are set up, and they then express their love for each other, which is forbidden according to Trill custom, because you can't then we can't bring back emotions.
You have to leave your past life behind.
Exactly.
You can't continue. You can't just pick up where you left off.
So there's a cost to do these things, and they realize what they've done, and they decide not to do it anymore, even though they still think this way. So there's all this history behind it, And the rest of the world was like, yeah, this is fine. We like the stories. We like the characters. We understand what they're going through. This is why we accept it, as opposed to a bunch of people flipping out and going, this is crap, this is garbage, because they don't care about the racist aspects or the racial tones or the sexual tones. They care about the characters. And they understand the setting and the tone and the context, obviously. So that's what we need. We need the background. And we have no idea what this cat girl wants and what she's going on and what SheRa's doing. It's this I don't know, she's on the ground and all of a sudden they're kissing and they're glowing and I don't know, that's about it. So
we don't even know the main plot of the story.
Yeah, the ending of the story is kind of important. Yeah.
We don't even know the context.
Is there a war going on? Are they fighting? Why are they fighting?
There's a prom, apparently, that this lady's the antagonist, but then she isn't. Apparently a kiss saves the world.
Great. What does that mean?
I don't know.
I have no idea. Thanks, MovieBob. Great job.
There's magic aspects. There's also some kind of technology going on. It's like, what kind? Apparently, this is a magic technological steampunk setting that also was a high school. Wow.
Yeah, missed opportunity there, Bobo. I think we could have learned a lot more if you just toned down the verbiage and told us why this was important, as the title seems to claim.
Thank God, we've only got 30 seconds left.
It's amazing how one man can say so many words in such a short video, yet still say nothing.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, describe what the show is about. Tell us why this is significant.
The term is called verbal diarrhea, where you just continue to talk, but fuck all is said.
All right, 30 seconds, guys. We can do it.
I prefer to watch an AT-AT chat video than this.
Oh, no, you're joking. Come on.
No, I would prefer to watch an AT-AT chat video than a movie.
You want to count cuts of a video of a fight scene, which is
I would prefer to laugh at someone counting cuts or saying the scars on the ground, or like the salt on the ground represents Kylo Ren's scarred soul.
The MovieBob at least has his videos go by quickly. Okay?
Yes.
That is the positive.
No, I think this video just went by quickly. I think other MovieBob videos.
We learned a word today called hope punk. I don't know what that word means exactly, but we learned something today.
This video is hope punk or something.
I
don't know what it is. We gotta look into it. You gotta take it over. You gotta take over the genre of hope punk. I think it would be funny.
That's what you should do in your comic book series. Have this destroyed.
I can't imagine there'd be a lot of stories in there.
No,
I can't imagine there'd be a lot of stories in the hope punk genre yet. So I think it's brand new. We gotta take it over.
No, but why would you want to invade something which is just shit?
Well, you can make it better.
Because we can make it better. Yeah, make it better.
But then you may as well just make anything that's better at that point if you're making something.
Yeah. Have a supervillain blow up the world and then, I don't know, plant a tree or something.
I could be my own version of Dr. Noah from DS9. You got sometimes just burn it down, make the world into our own image. Burn down Hope Punk and make Hope Punk into our own image. That's what we can do.
Wow.
And debunk their happiness.
All right, 30 seconds. Let's do it.
Large part to how it offered not just a heroine that was fighting from their side, but maybe a glimpse at what a world might look like or feel like when they didn't need to fight anymore. I'm Bob, and that's the big picture.
Yay! Bobo, we're done. He said absolutely nothing.
He didn't say anything stupid in this. At least like compared to like his Joker or Star Wars videos. This was just a whole lot of nothing word salad.
Just a lot of words.
Said, there's lesbian kisses in SheRa, and that's a good thing. And video over.
Yeah. Now I kind of want to see what Smud's reaction to his Game of Thrones Season 8 video is. The only Game of Thrones video he ever did. Where he says it's like Shrek more than Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I'm gonna not watch that and say you can give me your opinion on that one. I don't think I have the time for that one.
Oh, it's only like 4 minutes. It's really short.
Really? Wow. That'll take like 2 hours probably.
Probably, yeah.
Slow it down.
I forgot to ask you about this before, but I was planning on having, was it my Troopers Den stream tomorrow on Wednesday. I don't know what time everyone wants to do that still.
Oh, we can figure it out. No problem.
I'm down.
Yeah.
It's just quickly plug it. We're hopefully having a stream on my channel tomorrow if all you want to subscribe. My link's in the description. But we're hopefully going to be covering some behind the scenes Clone Wars videos and having some commentaries on that.
Fun.
Okay.
Good stuff. Okay, guys. Well, that's a pretty good send off. If you guys want to tune in to what time will it be, Shiny? We don't know yet, but sometime in the evening or afternoon, evening, Eastern Standard Time, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, around there as usual. Tune in tomorrow, Shiny's channel, and we're going to be covering some behind the scenes stuff with Clone Wars. That'd be cool.
Yay.
Yay. Well, thanks, guys, for joining. We appreciate all your time and patience. And I know MovieBob is not the most exciting thing to watch, but we did learn a word. I can definitely tell you I've never heard of this genre before, and I'm glad I did. So, hey, there's always a diamond in there somewhere. Just gotta find it.
Writers rise up. Let's take over Hub Punk.
There we go.
Yeah, Literature Devil, you and me, let's deliberately write it so it's really, really saccharine for like half of it, and then we have a brutal Red Wedding style massacre in the middle.
I think perfect. We'll claim this genre in the name of the Toxic Brood.
Yes.
Yeah. Say, here.
Well, thank you guys for your time and patience. I always appreciate my guests who are regulars now. Literature Devil, Dunn, Shiny, and Voice in the Radio. We'll see you soon, hopefully tomorrow. And take care of yourself.